This is so funny. I did a whole thing on the Christian thing because, oh wow. The reason why this stuff is going on is because of Christians and Christian women. But I AI'd it because I wanted to see what it said. I just never thought to look for it. But let's see what it says because it's really interesting. And I'm in a bad mood. So, oh, I just want to say yes, I think the Virginia thing actually did happen because of some further comments. And somebody else kicked back, and I was reading the media, and they go, I've been talking so much, I'm losing my voice, so excuse me for a moment. Because they said, now I'm starting to believe it did happen and blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, what did I miss? There's actually a lot of information popping out, and I haven't even gone through Lawrence Krauss's comments yet. There's like 65 pages or something. I haven't even sat down with it, but I did see what it was. It was a little excerpt between Maxwell and Jeffrey, and then it's like, hey, I'm supposed to say that this never, this thing, and I go, oh man. So you have to kind of wait for it. I was being really cautious of it, but yeah, that would make me believe that that totally happened. So yes, I just wanted to put it out there so nobody think, I said it's just it could change because of information we get. There's so much stuff in this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, and last night I did get a target. I got a target. I got a target. It is absolutely crazy. I told you someone's doing it and I don't know who it is. Okay, you know where it came from? Or it was telling me where it came from. Frankfurt, Germany. Somebody was trying to get in access into my one of my accounts. We'll put it that way. Using something through Germany. I was like half asleep and I was looking at it and I'm like, is this a commercial on it or is it me? I don't know. I was so confused by it. And it said, do you want to allow this to come through? And I was like, hell no. And I had to like stop it and block it. And I'm hoping it didn't. Oh my God. So we don't know if it ever got access into my account. I didn't allow it. But holy crap. Yeah, the attack started coming. It was showing me Germany, Frankfurt, Germany. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, somebody's out there. No, there's activity. I just know there's activity. The ones in Canada was gross. Like, I don't know. It was trying to ask me to go out with that. It was something weird. It was all, you want to go out to sushi? I was like, what the hell? And I showed it to my cousin. She's like, you don't know anybody out there? I was like, first of all, they would know not to ask me to go out to somewhere where I'm not living. I was like, hello. No, it was disgusting because they said sushi. Like, it's almost like a sexual reference. And that was out of Canada. And then they used similarly in Canada, but that time they used a city that was a biblical name. Yeah. Now this one came out of Frankfurt, Germany, so I can't tell you guys, and we can't tell you what it's, but it did happen last night. I just wanted to let you guys know. Anyways, I did like a 3 hour long talk on these nasty narcissist Christian women and why we all get raped because of them, and they're the moms and they're the #1 child abusers out here. The narcissism of Metoo refers to how movement exposed narcissistic abuse with powerful perpetrators using entitlement and manipulation. Oh, that wouldn't be because we said they're little baby Jesus Christ with the crown, and the moms like, cuddle them to shit and then beat the crap out of them at the same time. And that women should be dismissed and we're just little sluts that need to be controlled. Yeah, I couldn't figure out where that came from. Not at all. None, no. And then when you bring it up, then the cult comes after you, the narcissist Christians. Yeah, the females, yeah. I was like, narcissistic abuse and Me Too, exposing a pattern of behavior, identifying perpetrator behavior, increase public awareness. Like, we have to be aware that they're all rapists. You should know better already before you go in a hotel, ladies. You should know they're all rapists. That's what they're saying. We're all rapists. Okay. Alternative interpretations. Okay, this is interesting. Narcissism among women. Some analyses have explored the role of narcissism beyond perpetrators, such as within the movement's dynamics. For example, one article discussed how female narcissists might use manipulative strategies within the context of anti-sexual assault activism Another piece uses the short story Cat Person to explore a feminist interpretation of narcissism as a form of alienation that women may experience when they become project of their own lives. I experienced the victim side of it and it was awful. I go, but you know what? We already knew the women were the narcissists because they're the ones that when we go to, we said we can't go to anyone, right? Guess who they are? They're Christian. They're Christian or they come from another religion background, which is the same. And I was like, yes, yes. We already knew this, though. It's funny. It's just not outright said, and it needs to be said. And then you look at their home dynamics, and their families are Christian, and they all got raped. Yay. Okay. And then but those are their sons. They forget these are your sons. So the women were doing that. So they started cuddling the men, calling women liars, cuddling the rapists, helping them manipulate. Then they turned to a Jeffrey Epstein and then cover and manipulate. So when the victims come out, they called them liars. I did not call the victims liars when they came out. We're looking at quite a dynamic of mentally ill women. There's also mentally ill women in it. So it's like, okay, we got to be careful because yes, in the middle of this, we have narcissist women that will use victimhood to garner attention on themselves. It's a strange thing. It's a manipulation thing. But without getting into that this minute, complex gender dynamics, the relation between gender and narcissism in the context is not straightforward. Oh, I can help you right now. Some research suggests that anti-sexual assault activism may attract narcissistic men seeking attention. What, you know what? All kinds of this. Wait, hold on. While others propose scenarios where women may also display narcissistic tendencies in competition for leadership roles within activism. Yes! I was not expecting that, you guys, because it's just such a topic that I've been talking about forever. You know how like everybody's in a group, right? And then people come up and they're like, oh yeah, they agree with the group, right? They're like, oh yeah, I had that happen. And then some other woman says they had it happen. But we're not trying to go into competition and run each other over. Are we doing that here? Have I talked down to the people here that are like, I'm a victim, I'm a victim? I'm actually trying to like go, have discussions back and forth with them. They're telling me their experience. I'm very much listening and I care. And I'm trying to take that into consideration. But then, I don't know. We didn't have it over here. We had men, though, come over here and have fits. And then they leave. They storm out of the room. They don't want to see what actually the problem is. And what are you defining right here? Okay, so right on this portion, we'll come back to it. Let me keep it here because I'll forget. Focus on systemic issues. While some interpretations focus on individual narcissism, others emphasize the systemic issue that allows for narcissist abuse to flourish, such as power imbalances in relationship and workplaces. Oh, the rich women are the ones that were the narcissists in the story. So in Metoo, the rich white women were the heavy narcissists. So at the bottom, when we're at the bottom here, they're like screaming out because they need all the attention, right? And they continue to do it. Well, I'm the one that did this. I'm the one. It's like, how could we even compete with that when the media like literally gives them credibility for no fuck reason? You know what I mean? It starts doing this thing. At no time would the media ever disregard them from talking. Okay, let's be real. What they were doing to us, which is way different than their stupid fake bullshit, is that they completely did this blackout on like every effing story that happened to me. I mean, this went through decades. Like we were part of this work ring thing. They disregarded that. Then they purposely muted out my story in the fire story. And then they refused to bring up the celebrity camp where everybody up in here is a pedo. And I'm like, yeah, that would have helped you out with the Jeffrey thing very well, wouldn't it? I'm just saying I'm going to gloat about it because that ain't my fault. That ain't my fault. That's other women being narcissists. That's other women in the media that choose to not run stories because they're self-centered Christians. Then they get mad and target me because I'm not Christian. That's another problem in this. It's like I will still talk with Christian, like the Christian victims in this. Like if Marjorie Taylor Greene was a victim, I'm not going to sit there and be like, F you, I'm ignoring you because you're goddamn Christian. I mean, how evil is that? They do it. But you know, when the Fox women became victims, I was there. But those other women, no. There was other women that were literally like, you guys deserve it because I don't know. It was evil. But I want you guys to be careful with this right here, this portion, because you know what you're missing? They say narcissism right here, but you guys know what you're missing. The covert pile of shit narcissist. The covert. The female narcissist that creates that narcissist guy. But I don't know if the men that were coming in here were actually narcissists. What I did see, and it's a perspective problem in this, as I sat back with it, because that's what we do. We're philosophers. We're deep thinkers. And it takes some time to get to the point and the root of the problem. These are the mothers that they have problems with because they don't listen to their sons' emotional issues and then run them right over. And so what you might have been seeing, this is the other thing, what you might have been seeing is men screaming out, you need to listen to us too, instead of dismissing everything as misogyny. We're not saying that nothing's misogynist, you know, that thing. But not everything is misogynist. Like, if the female that is being dismissive, like, I have no ears, you're not as much as the victim as I am. I mean, sometimes these dynamics are true, you know, so you have to keep it in mind. It's not like this black and white thing and then just take it as that all the time. It's just that these particular people, so they'll go, I am the biggest victim in the room. And I'm going to shun you out. Like, they'll do the shun you out thing. Men started feeling separated, you know, again from the situation. I didn't do it. So it felt odd to me when they were going on like that. Because I was like, I'm bringing up the Michael Jackson case. I'm bringing up Abercrombie and Fitch. I'm trying to bring up as many of those cases. I actually have been doing this a long time, though. Because I started bringing up the talent agent, the gay talent agent that went after these other people. Then I started talking about the gay monsters, and then the gay monster stories started coming out. So I was like, yeah, those are the gay men that go after their own community, and then they can't really speak out because of the dynamics of Christianity. Again, it's a Christian problem. And they didn't want to hear that. And then they have those over obsessive narcissist women that are like, we're for LGBTQ, so therefore we don't listen to stories about the gay men raping their own men. It's like, what? And then they go and protect them, right? So the narcissist gay men protect themselves and harm men in their community. So I was trying to bring that to the forefront, and I'm butting heads with these narcissist celebrity females that think they're right, but they're not, but they're just narcissists. But yeah. So when you're seeing me, I have to deal with them. So I'm like kind of like the narcissist warrior. So you might see this. Sometimes it's brutal though, but I'm trying to deal with different ways to get through to them because they have mental health issues and then they don't listen. So as you know, that you can't change the narcissist, but you could sometimes, you know, ring them around, you know, to like, they may not ever admit that what I said is right, but then they'll make it where they came up with it. And then, you know what I mean? So however you could do it, right? So, and the men too. I was really good at dealing with them. So you'll kind of see some things, these dynamics, if they ever want to study that, because that's actually why I got hired at a job, but without knowing it. But honestly, the reason I have an explanation, I think, for it is because my father was a big time Trumpy like dad, and I had to deal with him, and it was not good, and it was not healthy, but you know, you just get to deal with it, and you just naturally learn to do it. So I'm not scared of him. I'm not scared of Trump. I'm not scared of my dad. I'm not scared of any, they try to go boo boo, and it's like I'm not. I'm pissed. I'm pissed at the actions. Like they need to know like their actions are abusive, and then they might listen to it, but they won't admit that they listen to it. And then they'll go do something mean sometimes, and then just something horrific, I need to discard. But, sometimes you could deal with them, sometimes you can't. You just don't know. But I just want to put the flip side of it because they didn't do a heavy focus here, nor did people pull out their religion. It was actually important to pull out Christianity because the problems that Christians being atrocious monsters to other women and disregarding their sexual assault experiences and promoting pedophilia. So they keep ignoring that they do this, and you need to show how they do it, right? So I'm trying to talk about how they do it and dismiss things as nothing. They're dismissing. They dismiss it, they're promoting other men to do it. But at the same time, they're dismissing the males becoming victims. And then, so then what happens is the male turns into a piece of crap, and then I have to go battle him, right? But they don't all turn into a piece of crap, but they still have issues with females. And then in which case, yeah, then we start dealing with some crazy stuff. But that is the dynamic. The sons are being dismissed, and so you might actually see them as you may have been viewing them as narcissists because they're saying certain things about women, but the things that they're saying about women, not about me. Like it's not. If they say that to me, I'm gonna get effing pissed. But they fling out stuff, and it's more directly towards those women. Like they're not listening. But they have misdirected things at me, and I'm like, where am I doing that? I don't see that at all. So, but then we do have some men with some serious mental health issues, like they're coverts too, or grandiose and whatever, and pathological liars, where, if you don't say, if you don't play the, you're the victim 24/7, then they do this whole other evil thing. Like they have a very I can only be the victim mentality versus like I could be a victim and a perpetrator at the same time. So we've ran across that issue, but we've disregarded women completely, how they raise these sons to be rapists on us and disregard them and make them violent predators. That is bad. And then also raising girls to be violent predators to us, female on female. So we see the male on male dynamic. The female on female dynamic has been disregarded as a normal thing. And they've been atrocious monsters. Honestly, if we all sit around in a room right now and start talking about this, we're going to have a million stories. Oh God, this woman is a total hag because she forced something on me. I already told her about an experience, and then she disregarded me, discarded me, and then manipulated me into doing something against my will. Do you guys think that's a good, healthy relationship among female to female? No. So if she's doing it to me, she's doing it to males. And then she's going to disregard males as well, but she may turn around and start cuddling the male and listening to everything he says, and then it causes another dynamic. Christian women. And we'll just put it out there like that. Christian women are the predator creator. And that's a choice. Nobody's making you listen to a man and doing what he says. That's just the end of the story. And if you continue on that way, you're never going to fix a problem. And then me pointing it out is not a green light to go bully other females. We have our position on that. You seem to have yours, and nobody's bullying you. You're the one that got us raped. But you need to know why you got us raped. You need to know why and the roles that you played to get us raped. They don't want to listen to the cold story of Alice and Matt because it's too close to the truth. It's too close to the truth of them. They have separated themselves from them being cult followers and doing harmful things to females. That story is not hers alone. That actually represents the huge majority of Christian females following a man's order. and doing evil things and not listening to other females. And no, she's not alone. They want to treat her like some pariah of society. I mean, we gotta keep her out of the room. There's literally women saying this in the comment section. And it's not her cult. Like, she didn't create the cult. If she was the cult leader, I would be concerned. Because the cult leader, grandiose, like a Keith Raniere, do you think he would be out here totally fine now? No, he's not a fixable dude. He's a dangerous guy. She's a follower. So that's a different mentality. The mentality is different among that dynamic. Just like the Christian women. We don't want you in the room then. You should stay out of the room. You're evil. You get us raped by men. You harm us. You set us up for this crap. These are your sons. You turn them into monsters. Why'd you turn them into monsters? And then discard us into the trash. I know, rich women bullying us is just the level. You know what I mean? I was like... they cannot listen, right? They can't listen to the other point of view in the room. So then this is where the colleges start this crap. I was like, isn't college for learning, right? You're supposed to have all these people in there. Everybody has different points of view, right? And maybe, there's a person in the room that's totally right and everybody in the room is wrong. Well, how do you get to the conclusion of that unless you hear everybody out? Then otherwise you wouldn't have any reason to be there because you're a know-it-all. I mean, I don't know. It's just a weird thing, right? So it's like a class on, that thing pissed me off so bad. It was a class on feminist or something, some sort of thing like that. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, please do, because it's actually really good. You're gonna pick up a lot of stuff on there that I could talk all day long on each of those little portions. Mostly on the women's empowerment, beating the shit out of everybody, branding people. Okay, that was a job. There was a job, and that is how they presented it. Again, they presented it in the same way and abused the shit out of me at my job. The females, not the clients, not anybody coming in. The females abused the shit out of me, calling themselves women's empowerment. And I was sitting back, I was like, this is like, no one's gonna get this. Like, nobody outside the context of these like Christian people or anybody that's not in the universe of any of this will even understand that area right there. And I was like, they're like, how could you think that branding somebody isn't a big deal? I'm like, wow, you didn't come to our work. It's a different context. But I was just thinking about it. I was like, oh yeah, for some people that's like a everyday, like some people are into that, some people aren't. Yeah, so I don't know. They're uneducated. They're ignorant. So they can't grasp the issue. They can't grasp what they're, going on about. We need to have a high focus on females because females are the number one child abusers. If they're the number one child abusers, guess what? They're going to abuse females in society. And we're going to have monster upon monster. Other female monsters, other male monsters. So females need to be targeted, number one. They're also becoming very rich and famous and in positions of high power in which you should be concerned about because these Christian female narcissists do horrible things to us. Generally, they're just being more pushed out into your face now than it used to just be in private in the home. Yeah, and they're getting more and more dangerous. They're spreading around their illnesses from their low self-esteem. They're bullying on classes. They're bullying because you're not in their cult. Making people poor and saying that they're so much better and their notoriety, right? It's usually because they have rich parents or whatever. That's like a big one. But they don't always have rich parents. Yeah, so they're completely detached from reality. They go into grandiose areas sometimes. They disregard people in the room. So they'll say things like, when they say things we don't like, we just don't listen. Okay, yeah, that's another one. That was on the Democrat side too, by the way. I just wanted to point out. And it was a woman of color, I think, that said that crap. Which is ridiculous because what the hell, you wouldn't have been able to get out of this bullshit with these dudes if people started going on like that. Well, if she wants to start talking, I don't agree with her. I'm gonna just tune her out. So what the hell? Passive aggressive behavior. That's passive aggressive behavior. What did you say something? Do you guys remember this? Like a tank of women used to do this. I remember as a kid that I would talk to women, they would do this like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Did you say up? Can't hear you. Yeah. Just shit, dude, you guys. They're really bad. And so I would be careful on the male portions. I don't know if you're actually seeing all of them as narcissists. Like there was a few out here that were like legitimately like they need to listen to us. Like the mainly the Michael Jackson one. I mean, there was like victims in that, and they're just like, we're gonna trash them just like we trash women. Oh, they just want money and yada yada, and then just let the perpetrator rape everybody, right? And then it comes out in the media, and then it's like people are like, how could this happen? Oh, we're gonna blame everything else in the soup, in this, just anything else but themselves, right? So I was like, okay, I at this point, the same women that target us, that are bullying us, may also say things like, they do this sort of flip flop of the script, right? So I'm over here like letting him speak. I'm trying to cover those big stories, relation with that kind of stuff. And then some, the bat thing, that was crazy. Women may pop up and go, why isn't anybody listening to the men? I'm on the side of the men. Okay, when they start doing that, that's another narcissist. It's strange, but they're all over the place and they do crazy things. They do passive aggressive things. Like they'll say, I'm on the side of men. You shouldn't be on the side of anybody. But that type of thing. What else? I've seen other women bully men by calling them derogatory female terms. That's another one. That's another narcissist type person. We've seen, the number one thing that women should never be doing is not taking the criticism of them being terrible mothers, because it isn't research that they are the number one child abusers. They're the ones that have the kids most of the time, and their kids are being abused by them. And most of those abuses, considering what they have documented, showing that most of the time it's the mom, the other portions where it's not even shown because nobody knows it happens is not there. So you're the abuser, and you would create a rapist because you're horrific. Are really trying to come home on that, and then calling somebody else a narcissist. I am not saying on the K-Feds, right? No, he's not being a narcissist. He is, I mean, like, I disagree with some points. He has some misogynist viewpoints because they're Christian, but it's not meant to do anything like that. He's not trying to do anything like that. She's violent, has mental health issues, and it had hurt their son. So we have to listen to that because we don't want their sons coming out in a horrible way on us, and nor do we want women acting like that towards other females. So yeah, she's been very something on other people. So it is an important thing. Public, like, she's a major victim because he was talking about his experiences, is wrong. That's not narcissistic. So that would be flinging out all the wrong things. It would be if he's like, I am the victim of this whole thing, and I never did no wrong, and I don't know, just a different approach to that. I think it's just somebody that isn't really allowed to speak out on things, and then they come try, and then they wonder why men can't speak up on their issues when they get harmed by our gender. And I don't think any female should be cuddled because she's a female, because whatever, that they harmed another male. I mean, if I was acting like that, it's right for them to talk about it. I need to hear what I did, and then I have to take that in and decide how I feel about it. And then if you disagree with it, then that's the thing about it. You disagree with it, and then you could go from there. But she was the one that did the narcissist tactic. It actually wasn't him. He didn't say don't ever listen to her. Did you guys hear any of that? Like the coverts and all those other people, they throw out tactics like don't ever listen to them. You only listen to me, and if you listen to them, then that means you hate me. It's the whole thing of like, if you don't feel bad for me, you don't love me. And I don't know, it's some like weird emotional entrapment. And it's like we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? But Corey Feldman was really big on doing that, and that was terrible. And nobody's trying to take him down. It's like just they have very severe mental health issues. He had a very bad relationship with his mother, and she was probably a narcissist, and that's what came out of it. So then he targets women all the time, and he used the right word too. They look for women and children to mold. Mold. That's what the narcissist is looking for. The moldable human. I'm not moldable by any narcissist. They'll go for kids. They go for women who are highly uneducated and naive, but not even that all the time. Just given opportunity. But the moldable one, yeah, like they want to control. So the narcissist wants somebody they can control. So they're looking for the one person that they could manipulate. So they'll play around. They can't manipulate me, so we battle. The female and the male. The female narcissist and the male like to battle me. They love to battle me, and I'm totally up for it. I was like, I'm up for it. No, I don't like it. No, I don't like it. I don't deserve it, but at the same time, you can't just let people bully you or, keep going on and on and on. But deep down, just so you guys know, people like that, they have very low self-esteem. So take it as a compliment. Framing of it. Yeah, don't take it as a compliment. They're all raping your ass, but the general bullying that they do, is kind of a compliment, because what they're saying is like, what she's saying is making me feel a certain way because I'm an insecure pile of shit, and I need to go try to take her down a notch. It's kind of something like that. But I was listening to Republicans speaking on their abuse stories. I was trying to go there. So no, I mean, it becomes a non-political issue. So the narcissists are on all sides. Christians are on all sides. We are seeing this conduct even within the Jewish community. So it isn't a specific group. They relatively have some similar belief system, the structural beliefs. So we're looking at that. But what's missing in those dynamics, with the religion, and those structured religions that they have, like Muslims, whatever, the mother dynamic. We know the abusive father dynamic, the dynamic of the wildly abusive father that's, screaming, yelling, raging, drunk, beating kids, sexually abusing them. And the female portions are more, sometimes they can be passive. The female narcissist may be passive, but not always. But for some reason, we are discarding it because, again, probably Christianity, because we're supposed to discard the female. It's weird. I don't discard females' pain and suffering from abuse from other people, but I will discard them when they're being piles of shit like that and then targeting me and disregarding me that I got touched by some adult man up in here. Then in which case we disregard them and we don't even bother talking to them. So there is a disregard there. Like, we do this, and it's like the only thing I could think of, it's from the Christian indoctrination, and I have to kind of reel it in because the main area right now where we have not blasted to pieces is the Christian female. And that is actually the checkmate. It is, because that's in the statistics. And if it's in the statistics, then we need to have the high focus right there. Their sons are shooting up the place. Their sons are raping us. Their sons are doing these things. They did not just come out of the blue. It is not the devil. There is a causation. There is a causation here. And you see those women treating me like shit? They didn't just treat me like shit. They treated all these victims like shit. Yeah, so then they have mental health disorders like Virginia had, and I'm just trying to see, now I have to sit there and understand her thing. But those issues are typically caused by childhood trauma. And the whole time, we're the boys club, the men's club, this whole thing of them raping kids have been since the the Bible times and before. But the Christians are trying to throw blinders on you, that they're acting like they don't know anything. I love it. It's just like, wow, it's like literally there. I don't know. Why would your son be a pile of shit narcissist? You literally have statues around your house with white men with crowns of, all over their head. They're the glory of the world. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm totally lost. I can't figure it out. Look in a mirror. And then they're sitting here like dragging Allison Mack. Like, I'm looking at it, it's like we're not even disregarding the victims in the story. We're not. We are trying to make sure other women do not do this again. What was her folly? Because she's already indoctrinated into Christian ideology, into these religious ideologies, to submit herself and listen to a guy and think he's smart at all and he's going to tell her something different. He's going to be the savior to her life. That's indoctrinated. That's the initial indoctrination. And that led the door open to then now the monster takes advantage of her. Okay, yes. The Christian women were meant to be ignorant and stupid and dumb. The men have always been on top of it, and they always believed you, ladies. You're the one that got gaslit. They always had this group of men that were raping kids, and it's in your book, but I guess they kept you dumb to not even figure it out. I don't know. And there's actually some passages that were changed that I just realized, and they were initially supposed to just beat their sons, not children. To spare the rod, it was supposed to be on their sons. So I don't know why that was manipulated and changed. I don't know this minute. But yeah, it was changed, and it matters from history because they turned medieval. But that's what it says. And then down here, what does it say? Empowerment. I actually feel in a worse position now than I ever did, because when I was speaking out, nobody made me homeless, like at that moment. They were trying to at the time when I first came out. They definitely tried. There was a whole thing right there, and the cops were promoting it, and we can go into a whole thing about that. But then after that, they didn't protect me, right? So there's like a whole human trafficking ring up in here, which they still have covered up. And in lieu of that Jeffrey thing, I go, yeah, you should not let them come out here without showing all the government officials that were involved in that. If you don't see that, the investigation is incomplete. And I was trying to let everybody know that it's incomplete. And you should make sure that you demand all that. And if you don't see it in there, then there's more cover up. They're trying to protect as much of the house as they could possibly do. It's weird. You're getting government to go after people that they already knew were doing things. It's really stupid. Like, they're pretending like they didn't know. And they're just like, oh, I guess we should just try to get some emails that kind of prove that these guys are doing that. But okay, how far do we want to go? Okay, I don't know. But we're not going to look at ourselves as being part of the problem, like calling little ladies liars and then not taking their complaints seriously and telling me, a victim up in here in the same universe, to go investigate it myself and then make me homeless in the middle of it. They did. They told me, FBI told me I needed to go have this investigated locally on my own. Why would I have to? But yet this is a whole different matter. It's not a different matter. My story just happens to have cops in it that are a bunch of pedophile rapists. Like, what the hell's that? What makes it different? Nothing. Those are powerful men, right? Those are the men that government hires. So if I tell government that somebody did something horrible, you don't go covering it up and steal money from me as a kid and get me kidnapped. It's absolutely outrageous. So no, it's not enough. It'll never be enough. Like there's no, why do they need a list? They just call it their friends, right? All their friends. Mixed mental health outcomes. While the movement has led to increased confidence for some, others report increased sadness, stress, indicating the complex emotional toll of engaging with these issues. Oh, how do you think I've been for 20 some odd years? And these men are targeting me every day. And actually, a huge number of people targeting me are females. Look at the Corey Feldman thing. Who were targeting other people up in here? A tank of females. The men engage the women to go target other women. Because women are dumb bobbleheads that listen to men all the time and go do what they tell them to. Where did you get that? Christian indoctrination. That's it. You wouldn't do it any other way. It's stupid. And I had men up in here trying to manipulate me, and they got caught, and then they had a big blowout and then stormed out of the room. So I'm not bothered with that, but I guess some people thought they were going to try to manipulate me, and then they had a double standard, and then they got smacked around about it, and had a flying fit, because they're trying to argue that women cannot defend themselves. So they have a double standard that we actually have a legal right, dudes, that if you actually try to rape me, I could take you out. Truth of it. That's your law. I have the right to self-defense. But for some reason, there's been some cases out here where government's trying to argue that women don't have the right to self-defense, and then go arrest the woman when she told somebody no. So it was a case like that, but they wanted to argue that they have the right to jam their tongue down your mouth. And I'm like, well, somebody has the right to bite it off. Sorry. They're like, the nerve of that woman. I'm like, wow, the nerve of that man. But at least, you know what, you guys, even though I got trashed over here for it, when I went under the video, it was somewhere else. Somebody threw the video up somewhere else. And underneath it, there was all these positive comments saying, that dude is disgusting. Like, who would do that? Nobody's listening to her saying no. And then he just goes, does it. And then, yeah, they were on the side of me, which I didn't know who, was going on about what. But it was more positive over there than it was here. I just had these toxic men. There were some toxic men in here trying to pray up. They have some conflicting beliefs. Would I say they're NPD? No, but they definitely have narcissist traits, to think that they're somehow more special and they can't be dealt with by doing things like that. They got so cuddled and used to getting away with that kind of shit with not just me, not just females, you guys. Those same men are harming other men doing the same thing. And so men just get used to getting touched by other men all the time, against their will, that they don't say anything. And then women have done it. I mean, I've had some women do stuff. It definitely is. I have more issues with women, more on the level of them degrading me, covering things up, forcing me into things I don't want to do, lying their asses off, bullying, big time bullying. These Christian women are big time bullies. They will not stop. They're narcissists. They think they're right all the time, and that we have to submit to their goddamn cult, and we're not in their cult. So they need to realize that. At least Marjorie just recently said, well, at least my belief, me personally. I'm like, yes, thank you. Keep it like that, because that's her personal belief. So here's my personal beliefs. Does she want me to get raped? I don't think deep down she wants me to get raped, but she needs to listen what they're doing, causing that. They need to see what the hell the problem is. I get to watch Marjorie getting told what to do by a dude. That is not empowering us. She came up with some wacky shit, but I wouldn't know if I would. Maybe she became self-centered because she did not listen to reality and the problem with the Jeffree Star. Maybe what happened here, this is my thinking on it. When she finally talked to the real victims of the story versus it just being like, out there in the yonder and all that reality hit, like, this is what it's about, like this thing about it, and it may have brought her down to earth. I don't know. But we're talking and I've been talking about it for a long time in regards to the, I just don't, if I go network, then it makes it seem like the reason why I hate, I don't know, some of these terms, it's kind of not exactly explaining it. It's a cult of men. It's a cult of men, but they don't all need to interact with each other, but they're interacting each other through the system. It's like, I have an ideology that I believe that women need to submit to my dick. Okay, so this is like number one, it starts there. Then they're like, little girls are meant for us to select for sex. So then they don't care about the age of consent, right? And they're just narcissist men. And then what happens is, like, so then I go to one of them and I go, oh, Jeffrey just touched me. So then they go, you know what? We're going to block that. We think you're just a liar. And then they just don't care. I mean, the truth is they just don't care. But they tell you some bullshit like that. And then they don't take the report. So then, therefore, Jeffrey goes and gets like 20 million other girls. And then at the end of it, they wait till there's like thousands of victims. Like, this is ridiculous. And they wait till there's like thousands of victims. And then you could be out here like me, right? I'm like, oh, all these men did this crap to me. We were raped a million times. We were raped a million times. We were raped quite a bit, actually, mostly in the childhood portion. And I'm giving a million perpetrators. Like, pick one, you know? Can you guys pick one to throw in jail? So I'm trying to like get justice for any portion here. So you're going to tell me all these men, none of them got busted for raping me. And as we know, each of those rapists they go on to rape about 100 to thousands of women, a person. And I got 20 already before we even get to adulthood. And they're sitting there like, we don't know how this happened. And it's like, oh, wow, I don't know. He said that they touched me as a kid, but you threw me in the garbage and you didn't care. And then you're going to turn around and act shocked about it, but you were talking to me like that. And then you're blaming me that I need to know better that they're all rapists. Why are your sons rapists, Christian women? Why are your sons a pedo? We can answer this today, but I want to sit back and hear them explain this to me. Are you going to tell me the devil did it? Are you going to tell me it just randomly happened? It did not randomly happen. But who's actually the shelter? The women. Because when I came out, all the women came after me. They're like, who are you? I had sex with them. I was like this. You could move on. This is normal. We all have got, at 12 or something. I don't know. We all got raped, It's like, there's nothing wrong with it. That's a rock star. They're supposed to do that. They always do that. They're supposed to be pedos, right? And you're just nothing to us. We're going to get in our group on our cell phone, on our iPhone, and start talking about beating you up, little girl. And then we have femicide, right? I'm not supposed to be bothered by this. Why would a group of people want to beat me up, Christians? Why would a group want to beat me up, Christian women? It's their fault. And I have to put up with this. That's what Christianity did to women. Sorry, I'm Marjorie, but the women take part. They're the ones that made that. Those are your daughters too, and they're piles of shit. I mean, who's gonna go on like that? You find any email exchange of me ever making a threat to a female like that? I have never in my entire life. So, and my parents were not Christian fundies that went totally downtown, with that shit. I'm the one that went to church, so then it should be, then therefore, why wouldn't I do it? I'm just deep down not a pile of shit narcissist. I mean, that's just going on like that. And they're doing it to strangers that they don't even know. So the people that are sending you shit, you're a stranger. They think they know you. They hear me talking, they think they know me. I'm like, I don't know, but I never met these people ever, never even had a communication with these people. And I get a photo of them in a group talking about they're going to beat me up. I'm like, I have no idea who those people are, and I need security. And Google is guilty. Google is the guilty party of the censorship of survivors and the promotion of hate crimes on women. And the people involved in that were women. There was probably men in that group of people because there was another guy that came out and called me a B word, but it was women talking about how they felt really confident of wanting to beat me up and how tough they are. And I'm like, wow, I'm ready to see women shooting up the place. Because that's the mentality. It is. And they commit femicide as well. It's not just men committing femicide. That is actually a bigger problem than mass shooters. But people want to make a big deal. Men want to make a big deal about mass shooters. But it's okay to kill us because why not? And government doesn't think it's important enough. They want to take tallies of mass shootings, but they do not take tallies of femicide. So I just want to keep that out there. Lovely Christians, we have the right to not like any of it. That's what's called freedom. Like they have tons of videos on the narcissist topic, but nobody really, I think, comprehends what a narcissist is. And what are we talking about, right? There's a bunch of different types of narcissists. And while I don't actually typically get into this, zoomed in part of the topic, we talk about the sociopathy, like the psychopathy. And it's usually always in there. It's usually always in there. Whether they would, I would assume that they would diagnose those particular ones with NPD as well. It would be the as well inside their problems. But a lot of people, as we were talking in the comment section, people have traits that are not considered a disorder. Like you could have some narcissistic traits, but it's not a problem. It's like a normal condition, human condition. Like, look, I'm really proud I got a bunch of awards today. But then you don't go on, gaslighting people and bullying people and doing this other crap, right? So yeah, there's a level of that. And I've heard people fling it out. I've actually heard other narcissists call people other victims coverts when they're saying they're a victim. Can you imagine the frustration of that? We've had it, I think like one time or something. But that's it. I'm not a covert, and I actually took a test and I taped it online. But I don't need to throw it up in here. It actually said, and I will actually disagree with its outcome, but what it said was I have no to very minimal narcissistic traits. But I will actually dispute it and say probably a little bit more than minimal, but it's not above average. But to say none, I was like, no, I know that's not accurate. It wasn't the most accurate test, but what it is looking for is the strongest traits of the narcissist that makes it go into NPD. But the rest of the questions, it wasn't enough questions to like really get into, more details. It didn't allow me more options for a response. So I had to selectively pick something that was closest to the truth. And then one of them, it said, had you ever manipulated someone? And I said, yeah. I was like, when I was a kid too. But that's not a chronic thing. That was just being honest that, oh yeah, I remember this time when I was 6 years old. And so, yeah, they're actually, and I guarantee you people lie. So when they do those tests, they're not thinking, oh, when I was 6, did you ever manipulate a kid? Yeah, but I'm being honest. So I took it to see where it would like throw me. And because people were flinging out, it's from other narcissists is what happened. So they can try to gaslight you because they'll manipulate you when you say I'm a victim. So they'll do the thing about, oh, victimhood, oh, this, as they're totally abusing the crap out of you. And then you get thrown into the street and they're like, oh, victimhood. Oh, isn't that evil? Those are narcissists. They're highly abusive. They love making you homeless. It makes them feel good because they have low self-esteem. Keep that in mind. Them going at victims like that is insane, but don't, it's like the Keith Raniere thing where they're like, yeah, you have a narcissist problem. Gaslighting. Okay, we don't do that here. We're pulling out like legit people with those strong traits, beyond average. It's like beyond average, but it's like, I can't tell you if when they go in, if they will get diagnosed with NPD. I would almost think that almost all the people that we've pulled up would, because if they're rapists, they have to have that trait very strongly. So it may be just a matter that they're not catching it or they don't go into a therapist at all. But yeah, they have to have a level of narcissism in order to go raping people. It's a matter of self-centeredness. They have a superiority thing. They get off on power and control. Then they gaslight you at the end of it. They're never honest. That's why it's rare to get an admittance that they ever did anything at the end of it. It's always going to be, I view myself as a victim of these females that are saying I did these things. Or a man, you know, when the male on male, they do the same thing. Kevin, I'm a victim of these men. You need to see how much of a victim I am of these men. That is crazy. But he is through and through a narcissist. I loved it. Did you guys see that portion on the... Oh my God, I didn't... I read his response about Jeffrey Epstein and them, where he said he doesn't know them. But as everybody knows, what's so weird about it, everybody knows he goes at young people. So he doesn't care about ages. He doesn't care about ages. So I'm sitting here thinking about this story, and for me to feel like he's scared about young girls being on a plane is about as believable as whatever. And he may be just acting like that because government may have grilled him. I don't know what happened there, but he was saying, he actually admitted to the fact that there were young girls on the airplane with Clinton. And he said, I was really concerned, you know, about that being a security issue. I was like, oh, really? He was actually concerned. He might have been concerned about himself getting busted. I don't know if I'm actually taking part in any of that. Unknown. He swears that he doesn't know him. He said that that's Clinton's friend, and that's where it stayed. Now, I don't know if there's going to be any emails coming forward between Kevin Spacey and Clinton or any weird thing like that. Viewpoints can change, right? I just have a hard time thinking that he's going to be all kind of outraged because there's some young girls on an airplane. But if he's being questioned by the feds, and yeah, he's got to say something. It's like he would be lying, right? He's like, yeah, I was a little concerned that happened. Hee hee. And luckily I'm not friends with them. That actually might be true. It might be true. It might just be a thing that was Clinton's friends and he went along for the ride and that's it. But as far as the, you know, like, I was really concerned that there were some young people up in here. It's like a joke. Cause like all his allegations are on young, mostly young boys, but there are females in the allegations, which the media just wants to pervert into a one-sided thing. Just like they did with the Michael Jackson case. They never saw Lisa as a victim, and it's awful because she was, and it's disturbing. Michael will be shopping for little girls to get their family name. So yes. Why is it hard? Yeah, like I said, it's hard when you're in a group of people and the narcissist covert is in the room and they're trying to dominate. They're trying to, and your first reaction is to fight them, right? I mean, the people out here that understand this, it makes you start screaming out loud, and you're going to get into a brawl with them because they will come in the room and go, dismiss all of you, okay? They're going to like dismiss everybody. Again, it wasn't just a me thing. It was like all these other women, but me singly, I'm trying to deal with this problem. And then you just see him go, bye, 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 bye. What? Oh, bye, bye, over you. Like, literally. So some of the tactics I've been trying to do now is just talk over them. It works sometimes, but men have been doing it to me, and that is a narcissist thing. So, but that's what they do to me, right? The narcissist does the talk over thing to me. So I was like, well, what happens if you do it back to them? So I've been doing it and mixed results. You could come at it different angles. Before I never like analyze how I'm responding with them. I'm usually really more on the what you would consider mean side with them, and they usually respond really well. Until some asshole from the outside comes in and goes, you need to be lovable. And it's like, fuck you, you need to stay out of my... They don't know what's going on because I'm dealing with a problematic person and they do not respond to I'm love and, forgiveness. It's like they're going to run your ass over as quickly as possible. So I'm trying to, they don't respond to it, you guys. So that's just the truth. That's just the mental health problem with them. And to get them to respond, you have to chew them out. Many times you do have to chew them out and then they respond. I mean, if that's what it takes, unfortunately, maybe it's because their parents screamed the shit out of them when they were younger and something in their brain, they don't take authority. They don't take your authority properly, that you need to unfortunately take that role with them in order to get them to do what you need them to do and stop being a pile of shit. Like sometimes you have to do that. Like, confronting the bully. And it's not going to be love and cuddling because again, they don't respond to that. They look at that as being weak and they're going to take advantage of you. And then they don't respond. It's a mental health problem. So when you deal with people with mental health issues, you cannot be this way with some people because what you think of talking to Ted Bundy, please don't go out and kill people. Like he's going to listen to that. Like it's a different. Somebody did a whole thing about it. It's like how the Me Too movement revealed the hidden world of narcissistic abuse. Oh, I don't know. Christianity? I mean, that's pretty out in your face, isn't it? I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm going to tell you what to do. But nobody asked the question, why is he being that way? That's a deeper question. Because it then tails off to the mother and father. But it really tells off on the mother because the mother in society has been the majority of the caretaker, right? So again, that's a high focus because of that factor. Like if it was all dads, I'm sure if you had all dads being the father most of the time, you would probably see the majority of them being the pile of shit abuser. But the mothers have been atrocious to points of just handing their kids to random men, which is crazy. They used to let church people touch their butts. They started touching their butts at home. And there's we need to push also that the corporal punishment is child sexual abuse. There's a lot of child sexual abuse in the corporal. And that they need to define that more properly because anything that affects the child's sexuality in any which way needs to be considered a child sexual abuse. And not just in the format that they touch, private parts or something like that. It's that they cause lifelong damage on their sexuality, like a lot of factors with that, and their brain, basically, on some of these things. I actually didn't know there was a huge, well, I don't know if I would say huge topic, but there are people talking about it. Yeah, you said, like, the Amber story was the biggest narcissist hit ever, and nobody understood the narcissist, which I did hear. So I understood the socio. So I'm on the socio, not the BPD, because the BPD is, they tried to mix this, but it's not the same. It's just not the same, guys. It's like some of their tactics are annoying. They're manipulative. They're a little annoying, but they're done for the sake of love and attention, like something like that, right? I don't think I've ever confused it. I think other people are confusing it, but I don't see it's like why they're manipulating. They're not doing it to be a pile of shit, are they, most of the time? I don't know, but that's a different thing. And the sociopath, the ASPD guy, like a Jeffrey Epstein, they and they're highly narcissistic. Okay, so they have a bad relationship with their mother, and then the person said that they did. And they were a lot more honest about it back in the day, which I was pointing out because we know the causations of it, and their people made sure that nobody saw that. So I was like, yeah, that's a big deal. Why would you try to put something down? Like, if it's a real thing that happened, then you wouldn't need to try to hide it, right? But they did, and And they need to be aware of it because they will take somebody that they feel that they could manipulate the whole story into this other thing. And I know the camp that they were around is a bunch of narcissists as well. So I was like, oh, they're going to totally be on the side of the child predator. They're going to be on the side of the predator. Okay, just generally. And they were well known for being with kids. And so those are some deeper things there. So they're going to come out and defend sexual abusers, just generally. But the public is not aware of this universe of people which also mingle along the Jeffrey Epsteins. Now, I don't know if they met Trump, so that it's a possibility. Questions, right? It's like questions in the field. It's like, I can't tell you because when they mentioned that they were going to New York, deep down, I wanted to go to New York, like really wanted to go to New York, but not with these people. And I was like, I can't, I don't even want to even entertain it because I'm not going to be stuck in New York with these people. But they were mentioning that they were going out to New York. And I don't remember what year that was. Like towards Buffalo. They were going to go. And I thought for a moment, and I can't get myself on a plane, but it was making it worse to where I can't talk myself on doing it. But then the thought of being in a new city where I don't know where to go and being stuck with my purpose, like the thought of this whole thing, I was like, no, we're just not. I mean, I could do it. If I really want to go, we could probably do it. But yeah, it was like a quick fleeing, thought about it. But yes, they did go to New York quite a bit. And then the guy was from New York. So I was like, yeah, I can't answer those questions. And I'm curious, but I don't know. But there's always that possibility. I did check to see if he was tied in that golf world. I mean, not really. Some of the things I was trying to look at, I didn't see any like real direct contact there, but you don't know what's going on in the background. So I was like, nah, I can't find any definitive thing, but there's things that are related. And the target attacks totally happened when, what's his name, talked to him. And Jack Dorsey and other high-powered people were heavily targeting us survivors. To the point of making sure that we can't even get paid to really force you into not talking about it. There was a whole thing here. And a lot of those men ganged up together because I'm almost certain that Geraldo and all these other dudes were not very happy about being called out on their own bullshit. So they wouldn't have any issues with, the Jeffries of the world doing these big power moves to suppress us speaking. And then when they do that, what happens is because these narcissists, men and women keep the women in there because they were in here, causes this thing for me to get pissed off, as any narcissist would. If you know anything about that, you're going to get really pissed off because that's their total MO, to do that and then call you nuts, like a whole thing to it. And it's, these are tactics. That's why I said, I go, you don't understand the tactics. If you don't, I already know their steps ahead of time because we're very on top of that crap. But even then, they, if they know that I'm onto it, they may change a strategy. And yeah, they started doing crazy, the sentence thing was nuts, but they manipulated me, on a thing. I can't talk about some things because I have an NDA, just to let you guys know. But there was something that was thrown to me, so I'm not allowed to talk about it. But I'm just going to say this. They do a lot of manipulation in putting things forward so you will be on board for doing things. But then the reality is what they're trying to do is a different strategy, which is to silence victims and all those things. Because the topic has always been, it's like, we need to be able to come forward and speak out. But the reality is they don't want you to because they're going to go to prison. So why would these high power people want you to be able to speak freely Well, it puts them in jeopardy of going into prison. You have to place those things together. And so they present things as, like a healthy public arena, which is not healthy because it's fraudulent. And then what they're doing is silencing people out that are being abused by these narcissist high power people, which I have been the whole time, but they don't see it. And just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. But it is. I mean, just factually, it's happening. But it's like talking in the dark. Like nobody's there. Nobody. You can't see it. You don't. You're not in my world. You weren't with them. You don't know. You don't know what we're putting up with. And so, me chewing out Twitter, I was really open. I chewed them the F out, man. Because they were going nonstop. But the thing is, you don't see what they're doing. And then it's like at a point, it's like, get the hell off my freaking ass, And then they don't respond. I mean, I try to respond to them like, civilly, but they were bullying the crap out of me nonstop in 2018. And then you see those private things with Jeffrey and Lawrence Krauss. Well, I was heavily going on Lawrence Krauss even then. I was like, Lawrence Krauss, how come he's not in jail? Lawrence Krauss, I was doing this. And he's over there asking him for help. I go, you know what? I'm not even surprised by that at all. It was like the thing I need to know, just to know, because I was like, there's all these attacks. And I go, I know it's not Corey Feldman. In the point where we're talking about, I've already excluded Corey Feldman's bullshit because that didn't even start up yet. And I'm like, well, who's doing it? Because there's nothing that's tailing it off. I mean, in particular, we're talking about the same stuff over and over. And then I was like, oh my God. And then they muted me on the depth thing. And then I go, see, that's the, more than likely those people, but it actually could be, what if it's these people? We don't know. That's the thing. I go, I cannot tell you that's like on the Fed side to investigate the, strategic attacks, but I know that the government was involved in it. So then therefore the answers that I want, are more than likely not going to be laid out at this moment. But that does help the thing where they were talking to Jeffrey. So I was like, okay, well then what that could lead to is what I'm talking about with these other people that are targeting the victims. It wouldn't be Jeffrey himself. It's going to be Jeffrey telling somebody else or Lawrence. He could have, I don't know what the hell happened there. But them using other people or agencies or something, and even out of the country, like you don't know what they're doing. And yeah, so, but like I said, the Germany thing did happen early in the morning, and it could turn around and you find out it's another event of a hacking of some other information, and it could be non-related. Like you go into this thing where it's like, oh, just, it just so happened to be after I just chewed all these people out and made this thing about it. But then you're looking at, oh, coincidence. Like that Axl Rose thing, that was that was scary. I mean, they literally took my phone number and put it onto a tablet, and then it connected to some dude it claimed it was T-Mobile, and his name was Axl Rose. And I go, this is a joke. Yeah, so they were able to obtain all my private information and then do that. Could that be related to this? Sure. Yeah. Could it be related to just general hackers? Sure. Yeah. And it's throwing us off. It's just the randomness in the middle of it. But things are happening. I'm just saying there's been a number of things, and it's just like nonstop. It's just literally nonstop. It's like, today we're going to try to take you down. It's like the system is programmed to target you. It's like, well, who programmed it? Can you tell us who programmed it? Was it a Christian woman? I'm thinking it's a Christian woman, because when I looked up this one agency, it was like these two stupid guys or something. And then there's this woman. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you guys sat down and programmed it. You're like, oh, okay, do you want your site to be wholesome and pure? You come to us and hire us and we'll give you the program. You know, they do the programming or something. And I was like, oh God. So no, the public arena should not be conservative. The conservatives can be there, but it should not be conservative for one group of people. No. like I use I've heard way worse wordage coming out of a lot of other people. I think the worst things that are coming out of people are not even bad words. The worst things that are coming out of people are their ideologies on our gender. So I think that's the thing that does damage. The F word doesn't make kids turn into sociopaths, right? It's your ideology. It's your actions and your ideology. It's like those combinations of things. It's not because you said the F word. So it's trivial.